Thank you for joining me for another episode. In today's episode, we're going to go over 6 phenomenal therapeutic exercises for your glutes. We're going to work on the glute region, which is a supporting musculature for pelvic stability. Your glutes are posterior lateral. They are composed of 9 muscle groups. We have a superficial 3-layer group, which is the glute medius, glute maximus, and glute minimus. And then underneath that, the deep muscles, there's 6 of them. We have the piriformis at the top, and then we'll go down. So piriformis, then we have the superior gemellus, then we have the obturator internus, then we have the inferior gemellus, then we have the obturator externus, and the last one is the quadratus femoris. These 6 muscles plus the superficial 3 muscles are your glutes. They help externally rotate, internally rotate, hip extension. They play a role in hip flexion. They play a role in hip adduction, and they play a role in hip abduction. There are the glutes. The glutes are the roots to the tree. So if you have any pelvic imbalances, rotationally, side bending, tucking, anterior or posterior, the main root might be because your glutes are weak. Also, if you have tightness, meaning your hip tightness, in my world, and it's a debate currently, hip tightness is hip weakness. So your inability to engage the muscles is the reason why your muscle is tight. So you keep stretching it, you'll never get down to the root of the cause because all you're doing is pulling it. The knot, which is the tightness, never gets unwind. So a lot of tightness is just inability to make the muscle work. So if you make the muscle fire and do its optimal range of motion and contraction, your tightness and your weakness will be eliminated. So back to the subject, meaning the glutes. I'm gonna show you guys and teach you guys 6 phenomenal non-weight bearing exercises. They are the foundation to bigger movements, such as walking, lunging, jumping, running, so forth, standing on leg. You don't have to do these exercises regularly, but they should be revisited 2 to 3 times a week. They also are a great warm-up prior to training or any kind of physical activity. In rehab world, these 6 exercises can clear up your back pain. They can loosen up your psoas, your hip flexor. Weak glutes inhibit psoas and hip tightness. So the more phenomenal your posterior butt region is, the less tightness you have in your hip, the better your glutes are, the better your back feels, the better your glutes are, the better your knee feels. So the glutes play a major role in supporting the back, inhibiting the hip, and also a complementary valgus force for your knee. So every time your knee collapses in, it's because your glutes are not putting your knee over your toes. Also, your glutes play a big role. Every time your foot hits the ground, your butt and your foot communicate. So as soon as you understand how to fire them, you want to apply close chain activities like squatting, lunging, and so forth. But we're going to focus on the non-weight bearing and making sure you engage these muscles, make the femur move, and then once you're ready, you will progress to the larger exercises. These exercises are really simple. They're non-weight bearing. They're all side lying. We're going to use gravity as the stimulus. Once you feel like the gravity is relatively easy, you'll see a bunch of people, or you'll see a common trend, which is adding a TheraBand resistance to it. More tension is not better. You want to be challenged. You want to make these muscles strong, but they're not designed for hypertrophy. That's where the squatting, the lunging, and so forth. So because you could perform these and they're relatively easy, just add a level 1 or 2 up. So like a yellow or red, maybe a green. Yellow, red, green, blue is my category of resistance. So yellow, red, maybe a green, but that's not necessarily needed. If you perform 20, 30 repetitions, these muscles will, I'll give you guys a math analogy. We're just focusing on the foundations like subtraction, addition, multiplication, exponentials, parentheses, and then everything then standing is calculus. So we're just revisiting our foundation in math, making sure we're really perfect there, because all this transfers over toward the larger macro movements. So if you have an issue with the foundation, maybe that's why the reason you're having knee pain and standing, or hip tightness and standing, because your glutes are not firing and they're not engaging and helping out other muscles. So very simple. The idea here is to lay on your side. You don't need a gym membership for this. If you don't have a table like I do, just lay on the ground, lay on the grass, go to the park, lay on the grass. So there's no reason why you can't do these exercises and put yourself in a position to be healthy, injury prevention, and so forth. So let's get started. First exercise, and what I'm going to do for the video is I'm going to do a right side, and then I'll do a left side, and then I'll move on. So there's 6 exercises. The first exercise, and like all of them, will be on the sideline positioning. When you're laying on sideline positioning, there are a couple things that is very important here is form. Because gravity is pointing downwards, you're going to want to shrug, your hip's going to want to hike. You'll be in just awkward positions. So put yourself in positions to make the muscles here fire. So the first thing, we want to make sure the top femur is as long as the bottom femur. We want to make sure our knees are about like 40 to 50 degrees flexion. So if this is 0 degrees, my legs are straight, I'm going to bring them up right about 40 degrees flexion in my hip flexion. You want to be careful not to bring the knees up too high, because you might have a chance, that might be a cascading effect towards your low back. So knees are in front, level. That takes the issue off the SI, which is your sacroiliac joint, and it's going to make the muscles fire. If you're short on the top leg, you're just shifting the bone, shifting the hip, and it's causing you SI discomfort. So glancing at the length is important here. Making sure my hip is in height. That's just basic because you're laying on your side. Gravity's pointing downward. So if you're contracting here, you need to relax that quadratus lumborum, make the pelvis level. And the last part, you want to make sure your feet are not too, or your knees are not too flexed. So your feet need to be in front of your hips, not underneath your hips. So this is bad. This is good. Level femur, level pelvis. Here's your first exercise. We're just going to raise the knee as high as I can off the bottom knee. It's the foundation to rehab of the knee or hip or low back. The idea here is to externally rotate and abduct. Make sure you feel the glutes here. We're going to go for about 10 repetitions. 10 repetitions is relatively easy. We're going to try to do 15. If that is relatively easy, then it's time to add the band. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one's here, 10. Also, these are great exercises for anybody who's recovering from a labrum issue, hip surgery, back surgery, knee surgery. They can't get to the gym, but they want to exercise. Very simple. You're just laying on your side, lifting the leg up, advocating femur flexibility, glute mobility, and then just translate and carries over to activities of daily living and as well as macro movements. Back to the opposing side. So as you switch sides, there's a tendency just kind of be out of position. So top femur as long as the bottom femur. Knees are not too flexed. That means my foot is in front of my hips, not underneath my hips. And the last part, my hip is in height where it's going to engage my quadratus lumborum. So we're going to raise that knee, feel that butt. Good job. Lower, make sure it shuts off. Raise that knee up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's 10. That's the first one. External rotation with abduction. Those are the 2 movements, and you get the glutes to fire. Second exercise requires a ball. If one does not have a ball, or soccer ball, volleyball, just stack 4 or 5 towels between your knees. Back again to the sideline positioning. In this case, the position is to stay the same, level femur, bottom, knees are not too flexed. But now we're going to place the ball and separate knee contact. My feet are stacked, my femur is long, my hips are relaxed. And once I'm in this position, I'm going to raise that foot up as high as I can off the bottom foot. Hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. You lower and relax. So the initial engager is tensor fasciae latae, which is the anterior hip muscle, very small. But when the foot is in the air and you're really engaging, isometric hold with the glutes engaging, and then you lower. So this is internal rotation of the femur. So as you raise the foot up into the air, you want to hold, really engage those muscles, but you should feel the femur rotating. You're not trying to raise the knee. 1, 2, 3. That's 3. It's not how fast you do these. You want to feel the muscles. So it's not just this. It's about raising that foot into the air, holding it. 1, 2, 3. Back down. 1, 2, 3. Back down. Raise the foot. 1, 2, 3. Good lowering. Raise the foot. 1, 2, 3. Nice and down. Raise the foot. 1, 2, 3. Good control. 1, 2, 3. Back down. And the last one here. 1, 2, 3. Down. And relax. Opposing side. Okay, same setup. Form is crucial. So top femur as long as the bottom one. Feet are in front of the hips. And the last part, making sure my hip is in height, which is going to, you want to feel the butt. You don't want to feel your crunching muscles of your spine. So foot into the air. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Back down. Foot into the air. 1, 2, 3. Foot into the air. It's not how high. It's can I get it off the ground? 1, 2, 3. If you're having a hard time, getting a few inches off the ground, that could be just the muscle's weak. It might take a couple of repetitions, and next when the muscle is strong, it's going to force the bone to rotate, and you'll get higher heights with the foot. So that just might be a matter of a few repetitions or a few sessions, and your height will get larger once the muscle gets strong. 1, 2, 3. And these are exercises specifically designed to really isolate the glutes, send good blood flow there, make sure they're firing, make sure they're optimal length. 1, 2, 3. Back down. 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 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Back down. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. Back down. And the last one here. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Third exercise. So now we're going to combine it. We call this in the medical world segmental rotations. So form is crucial. So long femur, feet are in front of the hips, not underneath. making sure my QL is not activated. So then it's knee, ankle, ankle, knee, knee, ankle, ankle, knee, knee, ankle, ankle, knee, knee, ankle, ankle, knee, knee, ankle, ankle, knee. Another thing that happens with this is it's a very good transfer over toward life, because when you're walking, one foot is on the bottom, which is a stabilizer, and this one is in the air doing something, and then you alternate repetitively over and over again. So as you can see, when you're doing these sideline exercises, what really happens is the bottom becomes a stabilizer and the top one becomes an active range of motion joint. And that just carries over toward life, because when you walk, one foot hits the ground, that's stabilizer, one foot's in the air for a split second, and it just does it over and over again. And that's your ability to kind of transfer over these exercises toward life. Knee, ankle, ankle, knee. So as you do these, and as you complete the 6, you will really feel, as I'm working the top leg, glute work, advocating femur flexibility, glute mobility. Then the bottom one, you're like, why is my bottom one tired? That's something that's really cool about these exercises, or really beneficial with these exercises. Boom. And that's this external, internal segmental rotation. Now let's kind of give you another view from the opposing side. If you have, I'm a big advocate of what you do on one side, you should perform on the other. You should have well-balanced symmetry. A lot of problems occur, injuries occur, because one side is stronger than another, or one side is tighter. Strength is weakness in my book, so there's usually an imbalance of one side versus other. So you should always perform these on both sides. Knee, ankle, ankle, knee. 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 Next one. Next one is called advanced clam or super clam. We're going to use both legs in this case. The setup is, again, sideline, bottom leg or top leg, femur as long as the bottom one. Nothing changes. You always want to make sure you're positionally correct so the things fire correctly. With this one, it's slightly, this one you're elevating the feet off the ground, heel on heel, toe on toe. Higher's not better, just keeping them still, and then actively opening up the top leg, clam, external rotation, abduction, 4. Try to keep that bottom leg still, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feet down. Opposing side. 10 is easy. Progressive 15. Ideally, if you need to do another set, that's always a plus. For the video, I'm just demonstrating 10 repetitions. If it's easy without the if it's easier just doing them fighting gravity, grab a band. Start with yellow and then progress to red. All right, sideline positioning. Top femur as long as the bottom one. Feet are elevated, toes on toes, heel on heel, open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feet down. And that's our super clamp. Next exercise. Back to sideline. Number 5 right here. Again, same positioning, sideline, still reinforcing that femur, and then you always want to pay attention to it. As you get tired, you'll start shifting the bottom femur, and you'll start feeling SI discomfort or low back discomfort versus really feeling the butt. Okay? This one requires raising the ankle and knee off the bottom leg and back down. We want to make sure this becomes a leg raise with those 3 points of reference, ankle, knee, and hip, not a pelvic side crunch. So make sure you're raising the leg without giving yourself a crunch. So up in the air, back down, 2. Up in the air, back down, 3. All right here. All but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one here. And that's 10. Let's balance it out. Opposing side. Okay. Femur's long, hip is relaxed. Feet are in front of the hips, not underneath them. And then I raise my ankle and knee, making sure I feel my butt. I'm not side bending. 1, 2. Think about a page in a book. Can I raise it without deviating? So you don't want to have any kind of deviation there. Can I raise my ankle and knee? Feel my butt? Good job. I don't want to roll back. So every time I lower, it should be as long as the bottom of the femur. It's 4. This is 5. This is 6. This is 7. This is 8. This is 9. And the last one here. And this is 10. Very simple. The last exercise requires you to use a towel against the wall. If you don't have a place to do this, you can do this in open space. But the issue sometimes is the towel really reinforces you to kick the leg back and raise it up. And if you don't have a wall to do this, and I will demonstrate what I'm talking about, you sometimes may get cheat by raising the leg using your hip flexor. So this is just a really clever way to make sure you're using your glutes. And this one really advocates medius and maximus with the other 6 that I mentioned. You're going to use a towel. You're going to lay yourself on your side. You put the towel against your heel. Okay? Once I'm in this position, because it's slightly different than your legs being straight, you want to make sure your top leg is as long as the bottom leg. Because you could just be laying on your side, and just because of gravity pointing downwards, I just made my top leg shorter. And now I'm using my quadratus lumborum, side muscles that crunch side bending of your spine. And that's not what I want. I want to use my butt. So I want to push and make the leg nice and long. All of a sudden my QL muscles are inactive. And then I'm going to push the towel into the wall. And then I'm going to raise it as high as I can and hold 1, 2, 3. Like gravity leads you down. You want to make sure you always have wall contact, hence the towel. If the towel falls, your hip flexor is trying to push the leg forward. And there's that imbalance. If you have a hard time raising the leg, the hip flexor might be inhibiting your butt muscles. So that's the cool part of using a towel. 1, 2, 3. Like gravity do its job. So it's important when you raise the leg up in the air, you don't arch your back, feel the butt. The lowering is just controlled. Gravity will lead you down. 1, 2, 3. and relax. Belly button in, neutral spine. Don't arch the back. Leg nice and long. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And last one. 1, 2, 3. Now let's balance it out by doing the opposing side. Once again, towel. We're going to lay on our side. Towel is going to go against the heel. It's going to reinforce glute maximus. So pushing the heel into the towel is going to be glute maximus. So nice and long in the femur, nice and long in the leg, long axis. No arch in the back, midline tight, and then raise. 1, 2, 3. Let gravity do its job. Belly button in. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 5. 1, 2, 3. 6. 1, 2, 3. 7. 1, 2, 3. 8. 1, 2, 3. 9. 1, 2, 3. That's 10. In my opinion, if you're having a hard time performing these, you technically shouldn't be doing any kind of squatting, lunging, jumping, and so forth. Because if you're having a hard time with this, how can you perform the macro? The micro needs to build on the macro. This is really just a clever 6 exercises. They're Pilates based, teaching the pelvis to stay stable, making sure the butt fires, making sure the femur does this bunch of motions. And along the way, you advocate injury prevention, mobility, flexibility, and strength. I hope you guys like the video. Please like, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Provided to anybody who's recovering from any knee, hip, low back injuries. These are foundations to physical therapy and Pilates. Please follow my Patreon, follow the Instagram, everything is in the comment section. Please look out for future videos, and thank you for joining me here for another great episode. Hope you guys will try the exercises, and please leave any comments regarding the exercises in the video.